Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to share a story with you. It's an old tale, but its lesson is as relevant today as it was 100 years ago. It's the story of a milkman, a bag of gold, and a very clever monkey. Our story begins in a small, picturesque village, nestled by the side of a flowing river. In this village lived a milkman. Every morning, he would milk his cows, fill his pails, and set off to sell fresh, creamy milk to the villagers. He was known for having good quality milk, and his business was steady. He made a decent living, enough to be comfortable, but like many people, he dreamed of more. He wasn't just content with enough. He wanted to be rich, and he wanted it fast. One day, as he sat counting his earnings, a thought crept into his mind. It was a sly, tempting thought. My milk is so rich and creamy, he mused to himself. What if I added just a little bit of water to it? The villagers would barely notice the difference, and my milk supply would stretch further. I could sell more with the same number of cows. I could double my profits. The idea took root. At first, he felt a pang of guilt. He knew it was dishonest. His customers trusted him to provide pure milk. But the allure of more money, of becoming wealthy, was too strong to resist. So, the very next morning, he put his plan into action. After milking his cows, he went down to the river that flowed beside his village. He looked round to make sure no one was watching, and then he scooped up some water and poured it into his milk pails. He started with just a small amount, mixing it in thoroughly. That day, he went to the market and sold his slightly diluted milk. And just as he'd predicted, no one seemed to notice. His customers paid the same price, and he went home with a little extra milk left over, which he then sold for additional profit. He jingled the extra coins in his pocket, a smug smile on his face. It worked, he thought. It's so easy. This small act of dishonesty became a daily routine. The little bit of water soon became a little bit more, and then even more. With each passing day, the milkman grew bolder and greedier. He was making more money than he had ever dreamed of. He bought new clothes, ate finer food, and started saving a significant amount of gold coins. His guilt had long since faded, replaced by the thrill of his growing wealth. He convinced himself that he wasn't really hurting anyone. The milk still looked white, after all. He was just being a smart businessman. But as his wealth grew, his reputation began to sour. The villagers weren't as oblivious as he thought. They started to notice the change. The milk seems thinner these days, one housewife would say to another. It doesn't taste as rich as it used to. Another would complain, my cream doesn't set properly anymore. Whispers and grumbles started to spread through the village. People began to suspect the milkman of tampering with his product. Though they couldn't prove it, their trust in him began to erode. Some started buying milk from other farmers, even if it meant walking a bit further. The milkman noticed a slight dip in his sales, but he was so blinded by his greed that he dismissed their complaints as mere fussiness. He had his money, and that's all that mattered to him. After several years of this deceit, the milkman had amassed a large fortune. He had saved up a heavy bag filled to the brim with gold coins. It was the fruit of his dishonesty, the reward for years of cheating his loyal customers. He decided it was time to take a break and enjoy his wealth. He also had a plan to get married and wanted to use the gold to impress his future bride's family. One sunny afternoon, he put his entire life savings, the heavy bag of gold, into a sack. He needed to cross the river to visit a neighboring town for his wedding arrangements. He hired a ferryman to row him across. As they set off, the milkman clutched his bag of gold tightly. It was everything he had worked for, or rather, cheated for. On the riverbank, a curious monkey was playing in a large tree, watching the boat glide across the water. The monkey was a mischievous little creature, always looking for something interesting to do. As the boat reached the middle of the river, the milkman felt a bit drowsy from the warm sun and the gentle rocking of the boat. He loosened his grip on the sack, placing it beside him. Seeing its chance, the nimble monkey leaped from a hanging branch, landed silently in the boat, snatched the bag of gold coins, and scrambled back up the tree before the milkman even knew what was happening. The milkman woke with a start, his heart pounding in his chest, his bag. His gold was gone. He looked up and saw the monkey chattering happily in the tree, holding his precious sack. "Hey, that's mine. Give it back, you thieving creature," he screamed, shaking his fist in helpless rage. The ferryman tried to calm him down, but the milkman was frantic. The monkey, amused by the commotion, opened the bag. It peered inside, chattering with excitement at the shiny gold coins. Then it did something very peculiar. It took out a coin, examined it, and tossed it down onto the riverbank, near the milkman's feet. Then it took out another coin, and with a flick of its wrist, tossed it into the deep water of the river. Plop! It disappeared beneath the surface. The milkman watched in horror as the monkey continued this strange ritual. 1 coin for the land, 1 coin for the river, 1 coin for the land, 1 coin for the river. He scrambled to pick up the coins that landed on the ground, but for every coin he saved, another was lost forever to the depths of the river. He pleaded, he shouted, he even threw rocks at the monkey, but the creature just chattered back and continued its work, meticulously dividing the treasure. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the bag was empty. The monkey threw the empty sack down, gave one last screech, and swung away through the trees. The milkman was left standing on the riverbank, clutching a handful of coins, exactly half of his original fortune. The other half was now sitting at the bottom of the river, lost forever. As he stood there, devastated and defeated, the ferryman, who had watched the whole spectacle, said quietly, "Don't be so upset. It seems justice has been served. The monkey has only returned the water to the river." The milkman looked at the handful of coins, the honest money he would have earned from selling pure milk, and then looked at the river, which had just reclaimed the money he had earned from selling water. The ferryman's words hit him like a thunderbolt. In that moment, everything became crystal clear. The money he had earned dishonestly, the profit from the water he had added to the milk, had been returned to its source. The universe, in its own strange way, had balanced the scales. He was left with only what he had rightfully earned. All his years of cheating, lying, and accumulating wealth through deceit had led to nothing. He had lost not only half his money, but also the trust and respect of his entire village. And so, the milkman, now a much humbler and wiser man, went back to his village with the few coins he had left. He started his business again, but this time he vowed to be completely honest. He sold only pure, unadulterated milk. It was a long and difficult road to regain the trust of the villagers, but slowly, through his consistent honesty and hard work, he did. His business never made him fabulously rich, but it provided him with an honest living and, more importantly, peace of mind and the respect of his community. He learned the hard way that wealth gained through dishonest means is fleeting and ultimately worthless. The most valuable treasures in life: honesty, integrity, and trust can't be bought or stolen. They must be earned. Thanks for listening to this story with me today. It's a powerful reminder that shortcuts in life often lead to long-term setbacks. Honesty really is the best policy. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories and reflections. See you in the next video.